Welcome to Coffee at the BIDiner. Hey, well, we're a couple days away from the 4th of July, and I'm sure a lot of people are making an early exit for their holidays. But we thought we would bring to you another episode of Coffee at the BIDiner. Now, this time we had an opportunity to interview a gentleman named Eric Burns. Now, Eric, based out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, is the VP of Sales and Marketing for a company called Perfect Crust Pizza Liners. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, one pizza liner to the next pizza liner, the one that I had on my pizza the other day. Well, I'll tell you, you'll have an opportunity to hear the difference and the science behind it from Eric. And I know you'll never look at a pizza liner the same way. We really enjoyed asking him a lot about his company, about himself, and some off-the-cuff questions as well. Now, the episode is a little bit longer than we normally bring you, and the lighting we need to still work on a little bit, but I do hope that you enjoy this episode of Coffee at the BI Diner. So, welcome to Coffee at the BI Diner, and I wanted to welcome my guest, Eric Burns. We call him Eric Bam Burns, but Eric, welcome to the show.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you, Tim.
Well, you know, a lot of people don't realize this, and I think after this, you know, because we have such an enormous, following, I say that with a wink, they'll be able to see you do this really well if they view Instagram every day around 4 o'clock. You have to follow Eric when this is all over. But one of the things that Eric does every time that he interviews someone, and it's very, very good, he wears a blazer. As you see, got it today. So here at the diner, hold on. You know,
yes.
We don't have blazers, but at the diner we have chef coats. Okay.
Well played. Well, you know, I'm glad I threw this blazer on today because I thought about not wearing one, but you just one-upped me with the chef coat.
Yep. What happens at a diner is a chef coat. So
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
All right.
I feel special.
Oh, you are special. You are special. All right, so why don't you tell the viewers here a little bit about yourself and, more importantly, about Perfect Crust Pizza Liners, how it was founded, and how you became the VP of Sales and Marketing for them.
Well, I won't bore you with a long story about that, but about me a little bit. Born in Boston, moved to Oklahoma when I was a kid. One of those parental decisions you don't have a lot of control over. But, you know, I've got Boston blood in me, and as you can tell behind me in my office, I still represent and love my sports teams and really enjoy that. Can't wait for sports to come back. But I was in the food industry for about 20 years and got to a point where I thought, man, it's time to do something different and time to grow in a different direction, and had great relationships with a lot of vendors that I'd worked really close with, and sent a text to about 10 of them and just said, hey, I'm thinking about looking for a new position. Can I use you as a reference? And within an hour, I had 5 job offers. And this was one of them. And the reason I picked Perfect Crust, and I'll just kind of show you what this is, but these go in the bottom of a pizza box. And what this is, there's some science behind it. You can't see this very well, but there's bumps and dimples on there.
Okay.
And the science behind that is when you put this on a pizza in the box, the Perfect Crust pizza liner lifts the pizza up and allows the air to circulate. And then you've got dimples on there, much like a golf ball, that absorbs all the grease and the moisture. And so the reason why I took the job here versus several others is that a year and a half ago, the industry was already transitioning to dining away from the brick and mortar restaurant. It was, takeout, it was delivery, it was third party delivery like Uber Eats and DoorDash, and it was catering. And so I just felt like it was the best industry to go in because we also do those, but we also do take and bake trays so you can bake a pizza at home in your own oven. We also do a lot of pizza catering bags. And so that segment, it just continues to explode. And unfortunately for us, unfortunately for America, we're going through COVID-19 right now, which, we were just set up to win in this environment. We are, and there are other parts of the economy that are doing really well. Gosh, if you're selling toilet paper right now, you're killing it as well. So we don't make any excuses for we're saddened about people that have lost their jobs and restaurants that are going to close through all this. But at the same time, we're bringing value. We're getting pizzas home to people that are crispy and just like they came out of the pizza oven. And that is the reason I came to work here.
That's amazing. So what size company is it? And what size of the industry? I mean, it's huge. I mean, the pizza.
Well, the industry is massive. We are just really scraping the surface at this point. We did just pick up, starting next month, Little Caesars. Marco's coming on board. Our business is going to triple. We're right now about a $9 million a year business. And like I said, we're getting ready to triple it really over the next 60 to 90 days. And really from a standpoint, we've got, pretty small staff and we're a privately owned company out of Minneapolis and all of our products are made in the United States and pretty fun. We're having a lot of fun. Pizza industry is a lot of fun to be in.
I really enjoy watching you on IG and the people that are in the pizza industry are characters and they feed directly into your line of questioning and probably into your personality as well. Before you were in sales and marketing, you were working for a restaurant. So what's the upside of sales to you or the downside?
I think the upside is flexibility. If you're really good, a lot of flexibility. The downside of sales in the restaurant industry, you never get away from it. Talking to somebody this morning, really, we were talking about 4th of July and now working for a manufacturer, we're closed Friday. And I was kind of shocked by that because I came from 20 years of the only 2 days you were untouchable was Christmas and Thanksgiving, Right. And so like I said, I think the tremendous part is there's always restaurants and people are always going to eat. And like I said, if you're really good, the sky's the limit in sales as far as in the restaurant industry, but like I said, the downside is probably, you've got to be really good at work-life integration and really, your spouse and your kids have to understand that it's very time intensive and it includes weekends and evenings and eating at customers' restaurants, which I do still, but.
So, knowing you like I know you so far, in the month and a half that I've got to know you, I know you eat a lot of pizza. And one of the things you always ask your people is, what is your favorite pizza? And of course, the question coming up, pineapple or no pineapple?
Pineapple on pizza. I'll answer the pineapple on pizza first. I'm not a big fan of pineapple on pizza unless I'm eating it with pepperoni, sausage, jalapeno, pineapple. I love that because it's kind of a sweet and spicy, type of mix. The miss for pizza operators that are doing pineapple on pizza is they're opening a can and pulling tidbits out and just putting it in. And, if you're going to do pineapple on pizza right, man, get some fresh pineapple, chop it up, maybe grill it first before you put it on a pizza. Do it right. Just don't open the can and just dump it on because I think that's the miss right there. What's my favorite pizza? I'm a pepperoni guy. I mean, I had lunch. I had pizza today. It's pepperoni. I'm a pepperoni guy. Always have been. Dave Portnoy does the rates all these pizzas, and he's a cheese pizza guy to get a good kind of base of here's what it is. But I'm a pepperoni guy. I love pepperoni on pizza. I love giant ones. I love the little cup and char pepperonis. If you've ever had those are game changer, phenomenal. But yeah, definitely pepperoni guy.
So a buddy of mine loves a local place here, like in Drake, Massachusetts. Tony and Ann's, I believe it's called. And so he stopped by the other day, and there's a place around the corner that is called Courthouse Pizza. And he says to me, "This is crap." And I'm like, "Why is this crap?" He said, "This is Greek pizza." Can you tell me the difference between what a Greek pizza is and an Italian pizza?
Well, a Greek pizza, from what I see, somewhat regional. Greek pizza is more of like it's a different style crust. It's the thing I can compare it to is almost kind of like Bisquick. It's like a biscuit type crust. It's very
fluffy.
That's the best way I can describe it. It's very dense too. I'm not a big fan of it. But I have met a whole lot of pizza I don't like. So
Sure. Now, the other day when I was watching you and a young lady do a live, you had said that you had met her at the Boston Pizza Conference. So my question is, do you do a lot of traveling? Do you go to events, pre COVID-19?
Yeah, we would be on the road a couple of times a month, and the Boston Pizza Festival. This was, I believe, their third year to do that, and we were a sponsor of that this past year. And it's been a little bit different for us. Before I got here, that was a type of event we didn't go to. But what's interesting in the pizza world is the reason why I felt we need to try to start going to pizza festivals like that is that you may only have 40 pizzerias there, and we get early access, so I can walk in with perfect crust pizza liners, give them all a sample box. But the value in that is to be seen, and not by consumers, but the pizza industry from a social media standpoint is very close. And so pizza guys are supporting other pizza guys. And when they see me supporting those guys, I get lots of impressions, Boston impression. I get lots of impressions just by being seen, because those guys are liking, they're commenting, they're sharing other pizza guys' posts.
Right. Now, I know the answer to this, but how about samples? Samples that go out to clients. Tell the audience about what you do there. And I think it's a lost leader, what I call it.
Yeah, we do a great job of sampling. It's our lifeblood. We do a lot of it through social media. We'll follow. If it's Tim's Pizza, I'm going to follow you. I'm going to send you a direct message and say, look, I'd love to send you a sample pack. And we send out sample packs like they're going out of style, because we have about a 60% close rate. So if somebody gets a sample, they're usually going to buy. And I've even gotten to the point now where last week on Facebook, there's a Facebook group called Pizza Assassins, and there's 700 pizza operators in there. And I literally put a post in there and said, I'd love to send you all a free case. Who wants one? And I think we sent out, as of yesterday, we sent out 19 free cases of product. And, for us, if we can put the liner in their box, they'll buy.
What is your customer retention percentage?
Oh, it's crazy high. I can't think of anybody we've lost. And a lot of this because we follow so many of them on Instagram and on Facebook, and we're sharing content constantly. So they know we're invested in them. And so those guys do a great job of supporting us back. And we are in the industry, there are some leaders in the industry like Grande Cheese or Stanislaus Tomatoes or Ezo Sausage. And we're in that group with those guys that we're considered a very high-end product. And we've done a good job of building our brand and building our presence and building our reputation over the last year and a half. And so a lot of these guys don't leave us, because once they start using us and they're sending us testimonials that they're using us, they can't stop using us.
Right. Well, there's a lot that goes into building a pizza. There's, the ingredients, the overhead, and that kind of thing. What does the cost of a better liner, this is a two-prong question. What's the cost of adding a better liner to the bottom line of a $20 pizza, and what's the cost of not?
Well, the cost of using a perfect crust pizza liner, let's just say it's 20 cents, right? That's the actual real cost, 20 cents a pizza, which is nothing, right? What's the downside, and what's the cost of not using a perfect crust pizza liner? And it's a great question. I'm glad you asked, because the cost is huge. It could be a soggy pizza. It could be a pizza that greases through the box that mom has picked up and she's got it sitting on her lap and it gets grease all over her pants. It could be a lack of a return customer because they got a pizza that's just soaked through and it's nasty.
Right.
So the cost of not using one, I'm obviously paid to be very biased, but the cost of not using one is massive.
Great. Well, I'm now that I've met you, every time, and I like pizza. Every time I go, and I think you and I was in Bangor, Maine the other day, and I hooked you up with some people that have five shops that
I sent her 5 cases, by the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so here's a personal question. If 18-year-old Eric gave you some advice, and then you could come back. Would you like to come back and see if you actually took the advice? So if 18-year-old came to today, gave you some advice, and then started his life again, do you think?
So if I knew, are you asking if I knew what I knew now and I started over at 18, would I be different?
Yeah, would you have taken the advice too?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'd be creeped out by the whole thing. So I think you have to take advice. I mean, but I understand the question. I sometimes for me, I'm very opinionated about things, but I'm also smart enough. And I think you get a little older and you get a little more seasoned, and you realize, listening to other people and taking advice is sometimes hard to do. But it's important to reflect on yourself and how you can be better. And I definitely would take the advice. Would it make a difference? Would I be in a different spot that I'm in now? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I think you're meant to be where you're supposed to be, whether whether the road was like this or the road was like that, you got to the same spot. I mean, I think because you learn from mistakes as you go. I wouldn't be the person I was if I didn't make some of the mistakes I made.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that I was surprised about. Now you're in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area.
Yep.
So Tulsa, Oklahoma is 722 feet above sea level.
Okay.
So where I am right now in New Hampshire, near the mountains, we're only 155 feet above sea level.
Really?
Right. Where's the highest place in the world you've ever been?
Wow. That's a good question. I've been to the Rockies. I've been to Mile High Stadium.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't know. That's a good question. You look at you, Timmy, throwing out the top. I'm going to say Mile High Stadium just because it sounds right. It just sounds right. So awesome. I'm going with Mile High Stadium.
Cool. Well, that's
I saw the Patriots lose to the Broncos in the AFC Championship game there, and it stunk. So
I'm sure. Well, Cam Newton or not Cam Newton?
I like Cam Newton. I like Cam Newton from the standpoint that we're getting a guy who knows what he's doing. He's been in the league. He's been an MVP, and I think we're getting a guy who's going to be very driven to succeed. I think this is the perfect fit for him. I think it's a perfect fit for Bill Belichick. And this is a guy that's mobile, can maybe do a little more with his feet than Tom Brady could. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens with him. And do I think maybe Jarrett Stidham is the future? Yeah, I think so. But I think to learn one more year or 2 more years is great. And they got Cam Newton for nothing.
Right.
So I love it.
I think he has something. I think he has something to prove.
Oh yeah, chip on the shoulder, huge.
Linda Carter or Farrah Fawcett?
Oh, dude, I think that's a no-brainer. I think that's Farrah Fawcett all day long, man. She had that awesome wavy hair. Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. She had those tights on that came up to her armpits almost. And as a youngster, as a teen, probably even younger than teenager, I wanted to think she was pretty hot, but no, Farrah Fawcett all day long, bro.
Okay.
Without question, Farrah Fawcett. Thank you.
All right, I have 2 more questions for you, and
then
we'll let you go because I know that you have a hard stop. You always include something about wrestling in your interviews, right? So yep. I grew up. I'm a little older than you, not too much, but at least 5 years. And I grew up in the time that it was WWF before they got sued, and then there were regional, like you had said the other day, there are regional wrestling. Tag team champs of all time. I'm going to give you 3. You tell me which one. Okay.
All right.
I'm going back. The Bushwhackers, the Hart Foundation, and Mr. Fuji and Toru Tanaka.
No, I'll take the Hart Foundation all day long. Those guys were tacticians, right?
Right.
They were just flat out tacticians. You got to go with those guys for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, you got to go with the Hart Foundation, and that was. And then you throw in maybe even Greg the Anvil Neidhart, who was kind of part of that clique, and he was pretty bad AF too. So yeah, I'm going with the Hart Foundation all day long.
Sounds great. And lastly, my signature question: business-wise or personal-wise, tell us 3 things about yourself that we don't already know by this conversation.
I love my family. Man, I've got like just a great 23-year-old son, and I've got an 8-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter, and I just love them to death, man. Them and my wife, that's my get up and go to work every day. That's why I do it. I'm pretty plain when it comes to ice cream. I just straight vanilla. I don't like chocolate. I don't like chocolate cake. I like a chocolate candy bar, but I like just like the white cake, like white frosting. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I love it. Right.
Okay.
Last thing, I don't think I'm a person that would be in awe of meeting anyone. Like if, President Trump walked in, well, okay, he's just a dude, Right. There's only one person I'd be in awe of, I think, and that'd be Larry Bird. I grew up trying to shoot free throws like him and make it rain and, from 3-point land like Larry Bird and make passes like Larry Bird. And I had the Larry Bird black Converse. And so I would be in awe of meeting Larry Bird. So that's something about me you didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, there were a couple of questions that I skipped over, but you answered one. Who is your favorite sports figure of all time? So you answered that.
Well, I'll give you. I'm going to ask you a question. I'll give you mine. I'll ask you a question. Who's your Mount Rushmore of sports? And I would go, and you got to pick one from all 4. So I'm going to go Larry Bird, Tom Brady. I'm going to go Big Papi, and maybe Patrice Bergeron, current.
Well, we're close. I would go absolutely Brady. I would probably go Ted Williams. Myself.
I didn't see him play, so.
Okay. If that's so, it would have to be Big Papi for sure. Bobby Orr.
Yeah, my dad. Bobby Orr is on my dad's Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, changed everything. So I got Brady, Papi, Bobby Orr, and Larry Bird, of course.
Yeah, you got to have Larry Legend, right?
All right, so here's my 0.5 question. I'm going to steal something from Jeffrey Gitomer. I'm going to give you a 0.5. You could have a drink with anyone in history.
Oh.
You go back in history and have a drink with anyone. Who would it be?
Never a drink with you, but I'm going to pass on that.
I didn't steal that part.
Other than you. Wow, that's a great question. Wow. I don't know. Would it be weird if I threw out Larry Bird again? Just because I just, like I said, I just said he'd be the only person I'd be somewhat in awe of.
Right.
I'm not wired that way to where I'm like, oh, like that. I just like, oh, that's the great. Like, I'm just not wired that way. And so I think there's a lot of history out there. It'd be, how cool would it be to roll with Benjamin Franklin for a day?
Like that. You stole my answer, man. I was about to say my answer is Ben Franklin, right?
Yeah, I think to roll with a guy like Benjamin Franklin, just really to have conversations. I'm very intrigued all the time about Knights of the Templar and what's the Masonic stuff, and I think there's a lot of history there in the United States regarding that. Right. That would be really cool to know, and he's probably a guy that's got some knowledge of some of that stuff. So I think Benjamin Franklin might be kind of cool, and really from the standpoint of a guy that was really great at constantly trying to improve himself.
Yeah,
he was constantly trying to, how can I be better? How can I be better? How can I be better? And so he'd be a cool cat, I think, to hang out with. And
so national.
I'd probably go back in time and give him, the how to make a perfect crust pizza liner. It'd be called like Franklin pizza liners now or something. So,
right. So National Treasure has to be your favorite Nick Cage movie, I'm sure.
I don't know if I really have any favorite Nick Cage, but I have seen that one numerous times, and those are always good to watch just because they're kind of a little bit mind numbing. But those are fun for sure.
Perfect. Hey, Eric, thank you for coming to the diner today. I really, really appreciate it. And, you have a great afternoon, and I'll be following you on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, thanks. Well, that was a lot of fun, and what a great personality. So again, thanks for joining us today on Coffee at the BI Diner. Everyone have a safe and happy 4th of July, and we will see you after the holiday.